Hello, thanks for being in a new video. This time I have first impressions of the Google Pixel 9 Pro. Let's get started. In this case, the device is tethered, so forgive me, but I can't show its back cover very well because of this tremendous bodoc. But let me tell you about the main specs we found in this device and give you my first impressions. To begin with, we find a high-end device. In this case, the front comes with Gorilla Glass Victus 2, the maximum level of protection that almost all devices currently have, with the particularity that the Galaxy S24 Ultra is the only one that uses Gorilla Glass armor, which is not only more resistant, but also better prevents reflections. This device does not yet integrate that level of protection for the screen, but it does have the IP68 level of protection against water and dust. The display that we will find over here is a 6.3-inch panel with LTPO OLED technology. In addition, it's going to offer us a 20:9 ratio traditional. It has 120 Hz in its refresh rate, and the peak brightness is 3000 nits when viewing HDR content, so we're looking at an obviously high-end panel. That for the small model, but this one I have in my hands is the XL model, which will obviously have a larger screen. It must also be said that this device incorporates stereo sound with a speaker below and the other speaker in the earpiece area for calls. Evidently, it does not have a headphone jack. The front camera notes that it will give us a good quality, especially a good amplitude. That's what strikes me most. And note that it allows us to zoom, something that few devices are really going to allow us. And for the rear system, we're going to find a traditional but functional configuration. 48 megapixel ultra wide with f1.7 aperture and autofocus, then the 50 megapixel main camera with f1.7 aperture, autofocus and optical stabilization, and finally the 48 megapixel telephoto camera with f aperture 2.8 and 5x zoom. In this case, there are a few things that catch my attention. For starters, that the ultra wide camera has such a bright aperture, because usually the ultra wide camera is usually very simple in devices with f2.2 aperture usually. But here it's f1.7, so you get an excellent amount of light coming in. And with respect to the maximum zoom, note that it's going to go up to 30x, which maybe doesn't sound like too high a capability compared to Chinese manufacturers or even Samsung itself. So in this sense, it is indeed a bit limited. It seems that Google still wants to be very honest about the maximum zoom and the quality that it will be able to show us, because although other devices may offer a greater amount of zoom, possibly at the maximum limit we will find a very simple quality. While in this device the maximum zoom still has a considerably acceptable quality, although it is not something spectacular either. And in video recording, note that its maximum resolution would be up to 8K, which is quite remarkable, although only at 1 and 5x. And also auto boost is immediately enabled, which will also prevent you from using the ultra-wide camera. If you disable auto boost, yes, we could record in 4K at 60 frames per second with all cameras, and it does allow us to do dynamic switching while we're recording. And on the video recording, remember, this device is going to include a quality enhancer when you're doing these recordings, but it's going to be through artificial intelligence in the cloud. So note that we're going to stop the video. And to start with, note that it has in the video editor the Magic Eraser Audio, which would allow us to have a noise cancellation style when we're recording. We can highlight the people who are talking. It also recognizes the different types of sound coming from this recording. And also in the effects section, we will find that it downloads some effects so we can have a different video editing, as you can see, with different styles of overlays on top of this video. But note that turning on auto boost is where we will find these kinds of enhancements that will be processed in the cloud. For starters, it could improve dynamic range, it could improve zoom and stabilization, plus nighttime behavior. However, this auto boost requires cloud processing, so it's not really a feature that you can take advantage of directly on the device, and it takes time for it to improve that video, as it has to be uploaded and processed in the cloud. The battery of this device is 4,700 milliamp hours with support for charging 27 watts via cable or 21 watts wirelessly. And in this case, the battery share feature is integrated to transfer power reversibly, unlike the Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold, which does not have this feature. The device comes with Android 14 still and has promise of 7 years of updates, and regarding the performance, it is capable of achieving it, has Google's Tensor GIV processor with options of up to 1 terabyte of storage and 16 gigabytes of RAM. Remember that Google does not officially distribute this device in Mexico or in many other countries. We do not know exactly the reason, so you cannot buy it officially in Mexico, although probably through importers, yes. However, consider that the warranty issue may be somewhat complex to acquire it that way. For now, this has been all for this video. I hope you liked it. If so, you know you can let us know, and we'll see you next time.